welcome you back to the Big Bid Theory. We here in Austin, don't know about you, but we're beyond ecstatic to be back with you and energized for our ninth, we're running out of fingers, our ninth season of the Big Bid Theory. That's right, season 9 of our little show. I'm Bill Culhane, your TBBT host. We're so much looking forward to a season as we look at the calendar. So many great guests, including this episode, more on that later, but great guests, conversations, sharing what's going on in government purchasing. We want to take a look at industry, whatever else we trust that you find folks are going to find interesting and useful, maybe even entertaining. I don't know. We'll see how that goes. But as always, we're powered by Bid Prime and Beacon. I've been spending time with the team getting our new studio, that's Studio 1C, 1 Charlie, ready for this season. We were hoping to have it ready before this episode, but it won't be up and running until our next episode, and I can't wait to show that off. I know Rick and the rest of the team can't wait for you to check it out. To Rick Jennings, our par excellence producer and official TBBT, welcome back to the studio, Rick. For the audience, I know they're thinking long time no see. Share with our good friends out there what you've been up to during our little tiny vacation break.
Yeah, sure thing, Bill. Well, yeah, it's actually been pretty busy over on my end. So, obviously, music is a big part of what I do. I think I've mentioned that a couple of times. We're actually recording this, so everyone knows, we're recording this the week after South by Southwest just concluded. So I finished up basically 2 showcases throughout the week. So I'm just happy to sit here, get ready for Studio 1C, and just drink my tea and talk with you. So it's been busy, but I'm glad to be here.
You know, Rick, as I sit there and listen to you, there some of our new listeners / viewers possibly don't know, but how did you get started in the world of music?
I mean, I honestly can't think of a time in my life that I wasn't doing music. I come from a very musical family. Just about everyone had a talent of some sort, and yeah, just sort of after high school, I did a lot of music in high school and came down here to Texas State University, which we're both big fans of. I came down here to do sound recording technology as a program, and so that's sort of what I specialized in a lot. And just ever since then, I've met a lot of great people, had a lot of great opportunities here in the Austin area. I mean, we're the live music capital of the world, and it's definitely done a lot for me. So, yeah, honestly, it's just kind of in my blood, I guess I would say.
All right, Rick. Well, it is awesome to be back. So you just tuned in, and I'm getting ready to already ask you folks for a favor. During our break, there were many people who continued emailing in with ideas for expert guests, topics, things that people were hoping we would discuss. Thank you very much, by the way. Well, if you know somebody who has a story to share about their role in government purchasing, what their team is doing, what their team is thinking about doing, all the great contributions that people are making in the world of government purchasing out there, share them with us. Or, and this is important, near and dear to our hearts, of course, but an industry that is making change for the better. Let us know. We're never going to completely stray from our roots, which when the show began, we were talking pretty much solely about leaders in industry, certainly leaders in government purchasing as well, but it was maybe more a lean towards industry. So let us know. Send an email over to me. I'm probably your best contact, and the best email is bculhane@bidprime.com. Okay. Well, to get season 9 underway, and I joked with her that there's no pressure being on episode 1. You're going to hear me joke with her again. But Diana Landeros, a procurement specialist with the Arizona Department of Health Services, is going to stop by to talk about Procurement Month coming to a close. That's right, here in a couple of days. We are going to turn the page on March. She's going to give her interesting perspectives and opinions on the government purchasing profession, talk about her path, and you don't want to miss her contribution to our magic wand segment either. In the business, that's called a tease. Great stuff from Diana coming up ahead. Our longtime listeners and viewers, and I have to remember to say viewers, Our longtime listeners and viewers know that Crazy Bids can be a magical, mystical experience. As always, in each and every episode, Rick will be leading the way in researching and presenting Crazy Bids you can win. And Rick, I joked with Diana by saying no pressure. Same to you, episode 1, but there's no pressure. What's ahead in Crazy Bids?
That's no problem. Well, this season we're going to start out Crazy Bids with a sweet little treat. So stay tuned for what that means.
I said it, our show wouldn't exist without Bid Prime and Beacon. After we briefly hear about them, Diana joins us on the TBBT hotline.
The Big Bid Theory is powered by Bid Prime and Beacon. Well over a decade plus in business, Bid Prime is the premier technology in the industry. Real-time bid notifications, supporting documents, doc search, robust data tools, and more. All backed by unmatched personalized customer support. For a free, no-obligation trial, go to bidprime.com. Are you looking to get more bidders and write better RFPs more quickly? Beacon helps municipalities overcome challenges in the process and increase supplier participation. Agencies are using Beacon to publish and distribute solicitations along with communicating updates to plan holders. eBid allows bidders to easily submit responses and agencies to collect them for evaluation. Also, Beacon is the place for access to the RFP archive, a massive searchable database of previously published RFPs to more quickly write better RFPs. To learn more, visit beaconbid.com.
Okay, thank you very much for that, Rick. And Diana Landeros, our guest, is a procurement specialist at Arizona Department of Health, where she's been for 1 year. Overall, you look at her resume, she's a 7-year veteran in government purchasing. She's also, as you will come to learn here momentarily, she's also actively involved and contributing to AZNIGP. Diana is the photography chair and helps run AZNIGP's social media, newsletter, reverse trade show. I went to their show back the end of last year, and also regional conference committees as well. She's busy. So with no further ado, stay with us if you're on the audio side. Interviews coming up. Get ready. Here's my smiling face, Diana, on YouTube as well. As I just mentioned a moment ago on the audio-only version of the show, Diana Landeros from over in Arizona is kind enough to join us. And off air, Diana and I, a moment ago, we talked about the fact that, yes, it is season 9, episode 1. Diana, no pressure at all. Being a part of episode 1 is quite an honor. And so we do appreciate you joining the show.
Yes, thank you for having me. I'm super excited. Never done this before. I've always wanted to.
Well, there's a first time for everything, no doubt about it. So it's such an exciting month. We here have been talking about the fact that it is Procurement Month across the United States. I look at Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, you name it, across social media. This month is being celebrated. We'll talk more about what you're doing there in Arizona or what you've heard is going on in Arizona to celebrate the month. But we first want to talk about your journey into public purchasing. I just mentioned, repeating myself, I just mentioned a moment ago, I went through your bio, but if you could kind of, for our viewers, for our listeners, take us through the steps that you took to get into public purchasing. Who helped you? What did you have to do? What was the process like? What was good? What was maybe not so good?
Yeah, so I accidentally got into purchasing. I started as an administrative assistant at DCS, and they just slowly started saying, "Hey, do you want to buy, office supplies?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm totally for it." And it just slowly started turning into my position. I started as an admin, so I also worked my way up to a promotion at an admin 3, but DCS had just branched off of the bigger umbrella of DES. So we were going to be centralizing purchasing. And shout out to Jesse Atoigi and Bertha Arenas. They're still there. And they, till this day, still help me. I will call them up, and with any type of question, and they're just always so happy to help me. And I was, we were there creating our own processes and procedures, how to establish branching off of the bigger umbrella, and how DCS is going to do their own thing. And so I was the lucky winner. I got my first purchase order in there. We troubleshooted with finance and accounting, and finally got one out. But after that, I did leave. I went back to DES, and I just wanted to learn more than just commodities. So I went over to DES, and they were also starting their new group. And I believe it was Sheila Hopi that helped me out there. And she was the sweetest manager. We were starting off brand new. The whole team was just coming in a little bit after I did. And after my time there, I went to Parks, and that was absolutely amazing. I got to shadow the CPO there, and we got to travel all over Arizona to go to the parks and do the pre-bids and document questions. And so lots of road trips at parks, and I got to understand the whole construction part that I've never been a part of. That's a completely left field for me. And so I was just able to, be a part of like the playground equipment, the roads, like the fire suppression systems. And you just start being a little like a subject matter expert on all these types of little things that you get involved in. And a lot of it is by accident. It's just whatever the need is. If something broke, I think it was porter potties at one point, something broke, and now we have to go search where we can get one, what size, what do we do, it's amazing the type of things that you learn. After my time there, I went to Maricopa County Attorney's Office, and that was also completely left field. It was all about badges and challenger coins and just a lot of customized designs. And because they have also police force in there as well. So it was just such a learning experience for me, that I got to touch so many different types of services and commodities. And now I've been at DHS for about a year, a little bit over a year, and I absolutely love it. It's strictly on the contract side. We work on nothing but amendments and competition and practicables, and just writing documents and extensions. And we work a lot closely with the program, and my procurement team, it's the biggest I've ever been a part of. I think there's about 17 of us. And it's just been able to be a part of so many different types of purchases throughout my career.
It sounds really interesting, and I couldn't help myself, Diana. And I know our viewers and listeners probably caught on it as well. But a number of times you used the word help, how you had people around you who were willing to help you. I guess you're kind of referring to a mentor capacity. But one thing I think everybody also picked up on is the number of opportunities that you've had, apart from doing the same thing day after day after day, year after year after year. It seems like you've been involved with a number of interesting opportunities as well. And as I sit here in Austin, Texas on Procurement Month, and I think back to the travels that I've made across the US, I even had the opportunity, twist my arm, I got to go to Hawaii back in November. So I've been all over. And your story, those are the kind of stories I've been hearing. And This month is a celebration. I mean, that is literally the accurate word for Procurement Month. I was in North Carolina a few weeks ago and was able to celebrate Procurement Month there with the folks at NCAGP. And so it's really, it warms my heart to hear stories like yours of somebody who is building, has established their career. But again, I go back to the fact that it sounds like other people have played a part in your success.
Oh, definitely. This has not been a one person effort. Throughout the years of I've been with the state, I've also been a member of AZNIGP. So I have access to so many different types of professional procurement people, and anybody of them, they're always just willing to help you. Um, it's just like a small little community, and everyone's willing to help. And whenever you reach out, if there's a certain solicitation that or a co-op that you just have questions on, they're just so willing to help.
Yeah.
And it's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I'm repeating some of what you said, but
Yeah.
that's one thing that I've noticed, and I never age myself on this show, by the way. But anyway, in my experience, my history being either inside, outside, alongside the world of government purchasing, it's one thing that is consistent and it doesn't matter where I go either. It isn't like this part of the country,
Mhm.
you'll see people helping others. This other part of the country, maybe not so much. I've traveled from Boston to Leie, Hawaii, everywhere in between, and that is consistent where people are willing to lift others up, help others along the way. So maybe not. It's episode one. I'm trying to knock some rust off, but maybe it's a good segue, Diane, to ask you, Diana, what for somebody who's thinking about getting into government purchasing, we've touched on some of the themes, but can you talk about the process maybe for somebody who's coming in off the street, who's maybe wanting to get into government purchasing? What should they consider? What should they do?
Yeah, I definitely think that you should not be discouraged at all to try to come into procurement. There is a huge network of people, national and locally. There's chapters that any number of people can help you. Just be a resource to you for whatever type of situation you come across. There's for us with the state, we have a procurement code that I have it printed, I have a book, so I write all over that and I sticky it and I reference it. Whenever a difficult situation comes up and you just want to reference, like, what's the state statute on this? If it's a surplus item and you don't know how to get rid of an item, or things like that that come up, or you just have so much resources available to you, and nobody should be discouraged. It's you come across something new every single day. I'm talking to somebody about purchasing just a random office supply and finding it through a state contract. And then the other day I could be deep in a contract and reading the terms and conditions and trying to, talk to vendors and things like that. So it's just, you're never bored ever. Something new
What
every
about
day, and I'm always
yeah,
learning something.
yeah, no doubt about that. What about the numbers of opportunities? And the reason I ask that, and in this case, I'm not going to name exact locations where I was, what events I was, who I was speaking with. But I know as I've traveled around, some more than others, it seems like in terms of the talent in government purchasing, a lot of people are retiring for whatever reason. Maybe they're moving to another industry, another opportunity has come up, taking them away from government purchasing. But what is your sense of there in Arizona? Kind of your opinion. Are there
Um,
are there a
there-
number of opportunities there in Arizona to get into government purchasing, or
yes,
is
there is.
staffing at pretty good levels?
There is pretty good levels, even entry levels, up to, my position as a procurement specialist and even higher. We're at AZ and IGP, we are constantly communicating what the job opportunities are, and we're posting them on social media as well. So even if it's not a state and it's a county offering a position, we blast those in social media as well. So there is constant opportunities out here. And the good thing is with the state, we are hybrid. In some places, only strictly remote. And then there are some agencies that are still going into the office. So just whatever the opportunity is. Yeah.
You're right. In terms of a work location, remote, hybrid, whatever the case may be, that's my experience as well. As I go around, it seems like it varies. But I do want to transition before we run out of time, Diana, and it's regarding your work with AZNIGP. I went to AZNIGP's events, just so people know. I'm not just throwing words out there. I actually attended an event in Mesa outside of Phoenix, for those of you who don't know the geography, and attended a great event. A tremendous job by AZNIGP in communicating the event and actually conducting the event. But then, important to me, the follow up was outstanding as well. So you're involved with AZNIGP, Diana. Kind of talk about your role, what you're doing, and I'm certainly going to give you an opportunity to plug what's up ahead for AZNIGP as well.
Yeah. So all last year, I was helping with the social media and our newsletter. That was our big thing. We took it and we ran with it. We got so much engagement in our social media. We're constantly putting, blasts of upcoming events and things like that. And we're trying to put polls up in our stories so we could get people engaged. And just a lot of just different content coming out of our social media. And the same with our newsletter. We took that and we just made a whole new type of template, started plugging in, little stories of, successes and people getting awards, and just showing the members of AZNIGP and their kudos to them. But that was a lot of fun this year. I'm also going to be in both of those committees, and I'm actually the chair of the photography committee this year. And we just had an event this last week at the career seminar, and I brought all my equipment to be able to give our members headshots. So let's get you a new headshot for LinkedIn or your profile pics. So just kind of offering little incentives for members just to, get some more engagement and have some buzz around that.
I follow AZNIGP's Twitter. I've come across some of the posts there on Twitter. I see you smiling. And AZI, it varies, right? I mean, how many folks are out there in NIGP, right? Hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds.
Yes.
And so the chapter AZNIGP, you guys are using social media. So if there's a chapter, somebody listening, watching to our conversation, Diana, and they're saying, we don't fool with social media at all, what would you tell them?
I would say, if you want to change with the times, because that's what it's all about, you get so much information out of that. Even, if an event gets canceled and that's our only way to get you, the latest information or things like that. It's just, the times are changing and it's all about social media. So we should take advantage of it and showcase what AZNIGP can bring and highlight procurement professionals.
Another tool for communication.
Yeah.
And I'm not just saying that because the Big Bid Theory, we have our own Twitter account as well. And we use it to pass along information. I'm sure many folks watching and listening to this episode found us either through Twitter or our LinkedIn posts that our great marketing folks put together there. So last thing, Diane, and this is just fun. From time to time, I don't do this on every episode, but I thought, hey, it's season 9, it's episode 1. Why don't we get this season kicked off with something really fun and interesting? So I'm going to throw this out. If you had a magic wand and there was something that you could change, make better, make different in the world of government purchasing, so how big is that? If you had a magic wand, what would you do?
I think a big issue that we come across is the perception of procurement and us being a roadblock. And that's not necessarily the case. We have to follow state statutes. We have to follow these rules. And, I always say, like, does this pass the headline test? We certainly don't want to have any negativity coming to us. So let's be transparent. We have courses on ethics. So let's just do the right thing. But let me get you what you need as fast as I can, but also following the rules. So
Amen. Amen, Diana. And I'm telling everybody out there, this little segment of the episode isn't a plant, but
yeah.
This is exactly why the big bid theory, once upon a time when we started the show 8, 9 years ago, it was focused strictly on industry. And anybody who started watching, listening to the show back in season 8, we had Dave Nash on and
Yes.
Diana, your friend Gwen Trinsky on, and others in government purchasing, because we wanted to tell those stories. And everything that Diana just said about the commitment that people in government purchasing have to doing things the right way, being ethical, being transparent. I see it everywhere. And if anybody looked at my passport and anybody looked at my travel itinerary, again, the past year, it's everywhere where there are good people doing good things for their communities. So, Diana, I do appreciate you. I know our audience thanks you very much for carving some time out. I know you're very busy over there in Arizona, but we appreciate you helping us to kick off episode 1 here, season 9.
Thank you. I'm really happy to be here. Thank you so much.
All right. Well, again, I'm going to say it one more time. Thanks to Diana and thanks to everybody. As again, we celebrate the world and all the great work efforts of everybody in procurement as we wrap the month up. So we've been patient. We've all patiently been waiting since season 8 wrapped up. Rick, take us on our maiden voyage of crazy bids for season 9.
Alrighty, well, we're going to start out this season with something that's a little bit easier, still equally as crazy, but this is going to be a nice, sweet little treat for us, as I teased earlier. So, this crazy bid comes from the TDCJ. That's a lot to say really fast. The Texas Department of Criminal Justice. And so the TDCJ is currently requesting bids to establish a purchase order for the procurement of carrot cake cookies for resale in their commissaries statewide. So all throughout the state of Texas, it looks like the criminal justice system is looking to procure specifically carrot cake cookies just as part of the correctional commissaries, which inmates take part in from time to time. So now, obviously, it's a very specific product. Carrot cake cookies just kind of out of nowhere. And there's lots of commissarial products that sort of circulate through that field over there. Just, I don't know what it was. This one stood out to me. And I actually took a look at these specifications. So I was just kind of curious, like, okay, if I'm starting up a bakery and I specialize in carrot cake cookies, how many would I have to be prepared to make for this particular bid? And so this bid actually calls for 3,040 cases of these cookies. Now, how many are in a case? I actually took a look at this too. There's going to be 12 to 14 packages per case that they're looking for. And so I did the math. And so basically what we're looking for here is a total of, at the very minimum, 36,480 carrot cake cookies. And the image that pops into my head is just a whole lot of people running fanatically around a bakery trying to get that many out, which I thought was pretty funny and pretty crazy. But another thing that stood out to me on this one in particular is that so obviously in like federal bids that you have specific NAICS codes, NAICS codes, class codes, and things like that that your company can sort of use to get connected in with these procurement opportunities. And I saw that this one is more of for like a class item code for Texas specifically on the ESBD. And this one falls under the code 39343, crackers and cookies packaged. And I don't know why. That made me chuckle a bit. So for the first time on Crazy Bids, I actually wanted to do this tiny little segment where I also look for some crazy codes. And so if you'll allow me, I have there's 5 kind of humorous ones that I found. So starting with 713930, which is for skiing facilities, snow skiing. Its cousin at 713950 for bowling centers, bowling lanes and such. Moving on to something more fun, 339932 for manufacturing of kites as you would fly in the air. One a more social interesting one, 813319 is for World Peace and Understanding Advocacy Organizations. And we'll end up this crazy code segment with 112990, maybe my favorite I've seen, Alpaca Production. So if you are a crazy big bakery or just like to check into these codes and everything like that, well, let's focus more on the bid here. If you have the capacity to put forth over 36,000 carrot cake cookies, then that is this episode's crazy bid that you can win.
All right, Rick, I'm not one to set expectations at a level you can't attain, but you set a pretty high bar there for crazy bids for season 9. It's going to be great. Of course, you, our friends, can go back into one of the podcast platforms. We're on almost all of them, and you can listen to episodes and crazy bids from our previous seasons, even seasons from back when I was young. Well, that'll do it. Season 9, Episode 1 is in the history books. If you have a comment, a question, or idea for topics or guests, again, send an email to me, bcolhane@bidprime.com. Give us a Twitter follow at The Big Bid Theory. My personal Twitter handle is contract_hunter. The show is also on Facebook, LinkedIn, and guess what? YouTube, powered by Bid Prime and Beacon. We want to thank again Diana Landeros for making herself available. Major thanks to everyone in government purchasing, and we hope you have had a safe and happy Procurement Month. Thanks to you for listening in, and much gratitude to Rick and our team for staying out of trouble during the break. everybody's raising their eyebrows, and we're excited. We have planned out what we trust will be an amazing season 9. For the first time in season 9, this is Bill Culhane. Until next time, go Gunners, Barracudas, Tigers, Bobcats, and Cubs, and we wish you the very best.
Powered by Bid Prime and Beacon, we thank you for tuning in to The Big Bid Theory. From Austin, Texas, the show is hosted by Bill Culhane, produced by Bill Culhane and Jim Ward, and co-hosted and engineered by Rick Jennings. Distribution, research, and production assistance by Lauren Jones. Among a variety of platforms, you can find other episodes of the show on iHeart, iTunes, Spotify, Spreaker, Google Play, and also YouTube. Thank you for downloading and sharing the podcast.
We're having so much fun, oh much fun, oh much fun.